What's up, squad? Back with another video. I see in the title is going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see in the title, which is absolutely crazy. Before we get in this video, definitely want to say, like this post says here, love and memory of Austin McCaff. Definitely from what my understanding, is, I'm gonna definitely say, from Austin McCaff, from my understanding that, like said, amazing student athlete, regardless of the situation. A 17-year-old, I ain't gonna say kid, but it's still a kid, in my eyes. A young teen, literally, I'm talking about it. And like I said, there's going to be talk here, but me personally, on my opinion, how I feel about the whole situation is a simple fact that regardless, this shouldn't have never taken place, regardless of the situation. What I do have to say too is as well is that, when it comes to, and I'm going to get more into it as this video go on, but when it comes to a lot of people that are literally defending this Carmelo Anthony, absolutely insane, bro. Absolutely. But what I do have to say, from my understanding, this great student athlete, them saying that Carmelo Anthony was a great student athlete, having a great GPA, this, that, and the other, a lot of that stuff don't matter. It don't matter just for the simple fact that other teenager did something that messed a lot of people's lives up. Definitely did. But I wanted to share with y'all that it is definitely getting out of hand when it comes to a lot of these things. Says Black Lives Matter left-wing activists, a lot, launched a GoFundMe for Carmelo Anthony, saying he wasn't looking for trouble. But literally took a knife to a track meet, which is absolutely insane. You know what I mean? It's absolutely insane. Like I said, I look at the simple fact that it really, and from my understanding from what people was saying, and I seen a post saying that he was supposed to be at a different school, or that I don't know what. I'm waiting on more information on that, because a lot of this stuff, I'm just tired of the lies, and defending somebody that took, a life. $8,500 has been raised out of the $50,000 target to support Carmelo. Literally says Carmelo confessed to the police after the stabbing that basically they're calling it self-defense. So, and we all know. We're gonna get more into that, but it says here there are currently 12 different fundraisers being posted on GoFundMe for Carmelo Anthony, who stabbed Austin McCaff in Texas, painting himself as a victim, which I find completely crazy. But there's literally a amount of 12 different posts for Carmelo, there's about 9 of them raised no money so far. One has raised, like I said on the last post, 8,000. Now it's at 13,000, which is honestly completely insane to me, just for the simple fact I don't know why they're raising money for this team to get out, regardless of the situation. However it went, they saying that Austin McCaff, who was his book dad, still gave him no right to do what he did with that knife. I don't care what anybody say. Still, like that, and I feel like it definitely shows. Like, and this is probably just me and how I feel about it. But me personally, I feel like it's something weak. You know what I mean? Like, me personally, like, again, I get hate on my posts all the time, but so I don't really care. But like, I feel like that's weak. Regardless of the situation, y'all know I talk about, being, I don't, you don't really need violence. You don't need violence all the time and stuff like that. But I look at the simple fact that, it just shows you, you having to pull a knife out and you running away. You know what I mean? It's self-defense, you run away. Like, a lot of that it doesn't, It's throwing me off. But it gets worse as BLM and, these activists defend this young man. Says, you see how both of Austin McCaff's parents have their own GoFundMe for their own son. Not knocking anyone who chooses to heal, but I'm praying we can get help. We can help Carmelo Anthony's family, help him get home before these people, do something to him for defending himself. Me personally, like I said, regardless, I don't see Carmelo Anthony going home no time soon, just for the simple fact of what he has done. Me personally, I look at it and see that, again, regardless, you bring a knife. And I'm trying to figure out too, and I feel like it not only scares me, and it's scary for even a mother and a father. Regardless, still got a kid. I don't know if they have other kids, but still just going through that, being traumatized, and others that's out there. And that's why it scares me too, for the simple fact I don't even want my kids, going to any schools. And that's why they'll be, homeschooled. And it's sad that you have situations like this. This situation is definitely sad. I'm tired of the different other people. She got 1.4 million views on this, 10K likes for defending somebody that literally, and like I said on many other of my videos, the simple fact that regardless of anything, you have somebody that you're defending and they stabbed a kid all because you don't belong in that tent, or you don't belong, you know what I mean? Regardless of the situation, I feel like it's just one of those things. Just walk away. Me personally, I just feel like it's one of those, people got to stop acting tough all the time, and then not being able to handle it. Now trying to push a different narrative. And then what gets me is that everybody is hopping on X, hopping on this account, hopping on TikTok, having to say this and say that, having something to say. And I just look at the simple fact, bro, this is nothing. Me personally, I feel like this isn't an argument, bro. I feel like this is nothing of a simple argument. I'm also saying, I've seen a couple posts on comments on my post, and putting me with, even though that I'm black, I don't look at that. I always talk about that. I don't look at, this whole color thing when it comes to, a lot of times. And I want to say, for the people that's been the R word, to me, Carmelo Anthony don't represent me. He doesn't. That kid, that isn't. I don't like being compared. I don't like that stuff. So I appreciate if people stop doing it. You know what I mean? To stop doing that. There's a lot of people that need to get themselves together. And I'm gonna say, since we're talking about this, I'm gonna be 100 with y'all, bro. I say it all the time. Black community definitely need to get. There's a lot with that. And if y'all want to check out my last video I posted. It went on about, the black community and these black kids needing fathers in their lives and this, that, and the other. And stop wanting to be, somebody that you're not. They push. And my thing is that you want to, they had those Instagram posts, right? They had all those Instagram posts. This what gets me. Had all those Instagram posts about him holding up guns. It was an AK in one of them. His middle finger. The captions that he had. But then now they pushing this whole narrative. Oh, he was a 4.0 GPA student. He had good grades. He was a captain of a football team. He wanted to. Bro, y'all can't do that. That's what makes me mad in that sense. You wanna make it. You wanna go this bad route, like you this thug, like you this gangster. But then when it's all said and done, when you're in trouble, oh, he's this amazing student. He went to school. He had good grades. He did this. He did. Man, I won't try to hear that. Shouldn't have did that. Regardless, shouldn't have did. That's how I feel about it, bro. I'm telling y'all, if all the people, that's defending this, you ought to be ashamed of yourself too. I said any video. I'm telling you. So yeah, more people, calling this man a hero. Carmelo Anthony is an American hero. It's unfortunate Austin McCaff lost his life. But this is a clear case of self-defense, calling this self-defense. And hopefully this young man can return home safely to his family, which I honestly, like I said, if this was the other way around, it'd be something completely different, bro. It'd be something completely different. Can you imagine? Just think about this. Think about this. If somebody would honestly, like if this was the other way around, they said that, you know how many people, to this day, I feel like they'll still be going crazy downtown right now. It's 1 o'clock in the morning right now. 2 o'clock in the morning right now. Guaranteed, bro. I guarantee I'm recording this at 2 o'clock in the morning right now. Literally be people downtown going crazy right now. All it feels the other way around, bro. I don't care what nobody say. And people will be like, no, that's laws. I think different. Come on, bro. That's BS. We all know it. Let's hear it from CJ, y'all.
Yo, I'm going to have to pop off for a little bit. The tribalism in the black community needs to end. It needs to end. Point blank period needs to end. The same people who tried to make George Floyd a hero, who built statues of the man and compared him to MLK, are now trying to make 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, who stabbed to death.
Did he say George Floyd? They compare George Floyd to MLK?
A hero who built statues of the man and compared him to MLK. People who tried to make George Floyd a hero.
Wasn't he on drugs bad and stuff? And wasn't he on drugs when that whole situation happened?
Now trying to make 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, who stabbed to death an innocent young boy simply because he touched his backpack, a victim. Someone who committed cold-blooded murder, a victim. A victim of circumstance, a victim of retaliation, whatever. I don't care. There is no world in which Carmelo Anthony is a victim. We need to divorce ourselves from this false notion that just because someone looks like us, we need to defend everything that they do.
I'm not in that we all. I guess he's more so stating black people to the color of your skin, but I ain't with that. I'm with wrong and right. In this situation, Carmelo Anthony was wrong. I don't care what anybody say. It was wrong. Now you got to face the consequences. That's how
we need to defend everything that they do. That's how we end up defending people like R. Kelly. That's how we end up defending people like O.J. Simpson. That's how we end up defending people like Bill Cosby. It's wrong. I don't care what you look like. If you're blue, green, yellow, orange, white, orange, or turquoise, if you do wrong, I'm going to call balls and strikes.
Come on now.
Wrong is wrong. And what Carmelo Anthony did was point blank wrong. Murder is wrong. This should not be profound. It is simply common sense. Or at least I thought it was. And so to all these black social justice warriors online saying that we need to hear the other side, here is the primary fact that we're dealing with. A young boy is dead over a...
Man, listen. Soon as I heard about that night, taking that night to that track meet, this, that, and the other, him doing that, regardless of the situation, wrong. It's no defending that. Over with. That's what it was.
The fact that we're dealing with. A young boy is dead over a backpack because of a kid who didn't know how to control himself because of the conditions around which he was raised. And that is a travesty.
I highly doubt. I would honestly be surprised if he was to get out. You know, I'm being for real with y'all. Just the simple fact of how everything came out, and I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all. I'm telling y'all. So y'all have it here. Says soon afterward, the witness said McCaffrey reportedly grabbed Anthony to tell him to move. So I've heard that, grabbed Anthony, grabbed the backpack, but more so I've heard grabbed backpack. At which point the affidavit continues. Anthony reportedly pulled out what the witnesses recalled as a black knife. Stabbed McCaff once in the chest before running away. McCaff reportedly started grabbing his chest, telling people to get help. The witness told police. So it says in Texas, you generally cannot bring a knife with the blade longer than 5.5 inches. A location restricted knife onto school property or to school sponsored events, but smaller knives are permitted. Which honestly, this is exactly why. Regardless, I'm scared for my kids to go to school. Because, man, listen. Regardless of the simple fact, bro, having a knife at school, anyways, bro. I feel like having a knife at school, anyways, it shouldn't be, especially like how the world is now today and like how things are, I just think about a lot. I feel like no knife should be. But anyways, this is in Texas. Here's a more detailed explanation. Location restricted knives. Texas law defines location restricted knives as those blades exceeding 5.5 inches. Says in Texas, assault is defined under Texas Penal Code, Chapter 22, as intentionally knowing or recklessly causing bodily injury, threatening another with bodily injury, intentionally or knowing causing physical contact when the person knows or should reasonably believe that the contact would be offensive or provocative. So, that was up under CJ's, that was up under CJ's post that I seen and wanted to check out. But me personally, I wanted to know more, when it came to this. But me personally, I just, man, listen, having a knife in general, I'm not digging it. I'm not digging it at all. But then again, everybody has their own opinions. But y'all see it here. I'm telling y'all, when it all comes down to it, this is from Reverend Jones. It says here, I wish Austin McCaff was still here. I wish Carmelo Anthony never had a knife. I wish Austin never approached Carmelo and found an adult. I hate any of this. We shouldn't make the situation racial or political. They shouldn't divide us. This should unify us. These moments define who we are as Americans. So how I look at this, I'm gonna be 100 with y'all, is that I love everybody. It's just one of those things of respecting, being nice, being kind to one another. I feel like, these things definitely do need to be bigger. I am seeing a lot of, when it comes to this racial, from either, black, white, Hispanic, regardless, when it comes to this, particular topic. And it definitely is sad. I don't like it when it comes to my YouTube, which I usually get in the comments, but, try to just, stay away from it. But what I do want to tell y'all is that regardless of the situation, it never should have happened. Carmelo, regardless, I just look at the fact that, him saying, I wish, Austin never approached Carmelo, regardless, however the situation went, should have never pulled out a knife, and did what he did. I honestly don't look at the simple fact that, this is self-defense. In any given situation, it's just, that's something you did, so you have to face those consequences, and that's how I look at it regardless of the situation. Prayers to, Austin McCaff, his family. Definitely sad. Like I said, I'm a child of God, so just as give prayers to him and his family, Carmelo and his family as well. But still, I look at the fact that you have to face those consequences, and you're a young man. You made a decision in life, and that was to take somebody's life, and you got to face the consequences with that, and you got to deal with that. Like CJ said, regardless of the situation, just because somebody looked like you, especially not even knowing the situation or how it went on, I just look at the simple fact that you defended somebody that literally, committed a horrible crime. You know what I mean? Disgusting. And I can't seem to defend that. You know what I mean? But definitely much love to everybody. I got love for everybody. I don't care what color you are. I got love for everybody. Just when you do things like this, that's something, you definitely got to deal with. That man made a choice at the end of the day, and his choice was to take somebody's life, and now he has to face that. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe. I definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Catch y'all next one.